Hey there. As you may already know, my name is Veronica, and I'm going to be explaining to you today how to fill out this confidential client intake form and why it is so important for your case. So, the purpose of this confidential client intake form is to find out your mitigation. Mitigation means all of the good things about you, hardships you've experienced, basically your story. There may be things that have happened in your life or things about you that you don't even know that we can potentially use to help you. And so this very nosy form that we're going to be asking you to fill out will get some of those details, and then from there I can go through and I can ask for more details if I need them. I can filter out any things that I think will not be helpful to you and use the things that will be helpful. And how do I use them? Well, first of all, if you have not had your first court date yet, I'm going to use them for a do not file packet. And in talking to the DA before court to try to get them to either not file charges or file charges that are less severe. Number two is, let's say that they do file charges against you. Okay, well, now I'm going to use the same information when talking to the DA to explain who you are, your side of this, how you ended up getting arrested in the first place, any details that I can explain about you. For example, maybe you're charged with something where if you're convicted of that charge, you will lose your job, and you've been working at your job for 5 years, and before that, you're unemployed for a while, for whatever reason. Sometimes I can use that with the DA to say, hey, this is the reason why I'm asking you to reduce this to a lesser charge, or to let my client take classes in exchange for a dismissal. So that's what we're using all this for. And then things may also come up throughout the case where it is helpful for me to have this information and to understand this information. For example, sometimes maybe the DA will file an additional charge. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but let's say that there's a restraining order and you violate it during the case. And the DA files a new charge based on that. Maybe you're not even guilty of it, but maybe they're accusing you of that. And now the judge may raise your bond, meaning even if you've already paid bond and you're out on bond, if it raises, you have to either pay more, get a bail bondsman to court and pay more, or go into custody. So I need to have all of these details ready to go whenever anything may come up in court. So let's go through this form here. So first of all, we are asking for your email address. Please make sure that you enter that accurately, because you will, as we'll discuss at the end of the form, you will get instructions once you submit this. You'll also get a copy of it. Your first name, last name, how old are you? Now we're getting into family and home life. So who, if anyone, do you live with? List everyone there. Sometimes, especially in the case of bail, if they try to raise your bail, if we need to reduce your bail along the way for some reason, it's really important to explain who you live with. If you're supporting anybody else, that's going to be important. So if you have any children or any other dependents that you're currently supporting, make sure you list their names, your ages, and describe how you support them. And really take some time, not just with this question, but with the rest of these questions. Set aside some time and give us the details on this. If kids live with you 50-50, and you're paying for all of their after school classes, you're paying for their summer camp, whatever it is, explain that to us. That can be really, really helpful in your case. If you regularly assist any family or friends, sometimes I'll have an 18-year-old kid just graduated high school and he's helping his grandma. That's important information for me to have. So please provide details, and don't just write grandma on here. Write, go about 3 times a week, help grandma to 3 to 4 hours, clean her house, open her mail, pay her bills. Give us as many details as you can right there. It doesn't have to be in, perfect, complete sentences. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. You can have spelling errors, whatever. But we do need this information, and the more details, the better. What is your highest level of education? If it is somewhere in high school, if you didn't end up graduating, tell us which grade you last attended and finished. If you're currently going to school, what school do you go to? What are you going to school for? And how long until you complete your program? Please make sure that you give us details on this. If you're going to school, that is huge, because that shows that you are trying to set up your life to have a better future. You're on a good path, and I can make a good pitch to the DA about how this arrest was a blip on your radar that shouldn't mess up this future that you're working so hard in school to create for yourself. If you're not currently enrolled, but you did attend school after high school, please list the school, program, graduation date. All of these details are really important. If I just say he went to college, but I can't say where, I can't say for what, I can't say when, that doesn't look as good with the DA. People lie about this stuff all of the time, and please do not do that. Be completely honest on this form. If anything's not good, I will filter it out for you. Don't worry. But the more details that we can have, the more believable it is. Career and goals. Do you have any professional licenses? If you do, list them there. If it's a commercial driver's license, that counts. Any kind of professional license that you have, listed there. Guard card, listed there. If you're currently employed, what do you do for a living and how long have you been doing it? If not, what was your most recent job and how long did you work there? This is another extremely important question. I want to know the name of the business. I want to know what you do for a living. If you haven't been working there for longer than, I would say, a year, please list an additional place. And especially if you're not working now, make sure that you list the last place that you did work. If things didn't end well with them or something, it doesn't matter. Still list them. Most likely nobody's going to call them. I just want to be able to explain this is somebody who is trying to work, who is trying to push his or her life forward, and we don't want a criminal conviction, especially a felony conviction, something that cannot be expunged, to ruin that. All right, if you do any volunteer work, please describe. People are busy right now. The economy is not all that great. Many people are not doing volunteer work, so don't sweat it if you don't have anything. But if you do, of course, please list it. What are your goals in life and why? And this is another key question that is really important because maybe you are young. Maybe you're 18, 19, 20. Maybe you're not where you want to be in life. Maybe you aren't in school at this point. And, maybe you've been working kind of like not the job that you want to have for the rest of your life. Okay, well, it's really important then that I'm able to describe to the DA what your goals are in life. So if you're not sure what they are, spend some time thinking about it. And I will tell you a quick story here. So I had a client, there were four defendants who they all essentially were accused of doing the same thing. It was like an assault with a deadly weapon case. And all of them had criminal history, about the same kind of criminal history. They were all around the same age. And I talked to my client, he wasn't working, and I said, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And he was in jail. Everybody was in jail at the time with extremely high bail. There were gang allegations in the case as well. So I told him, all right, well, you need to think about it. You need to come up with some kind of goal because I'm going to go talk to the DA's supervisor and I have to have something to say about you. So he said, well, I was thinking about being an electrician. So I took that. I go to the DA, the head deputy's office at CCB, and I tell him, my client really wants to be an electrician. That is his goal. That's what he's always dreamed of. And the DA supervisor actually agreed to give him probation with the condition that he must get his electrician's license. Now, everybody else, the other three in the case, who probably similarly did not know exactly what they wanted to do, all of them got prison. And one of them asked, and his attorney also asked, when we were all accepting our plea agreements, all the defendants are accepting their plea agreements, well, why did he get probation? Why did the rest of them have to go to state prison? Why do I have to go to prison and he gets to get out? And the DA said, well, nobody else asked to go to school. So find a goal. It doesn't matter if you are 100% set in stone in it, although keep in mind that it may be a condition of your probation, especially if it's a serious case like that you need to get the degree in it. So be careful of that, but come up with something. Okay, hardships. So if you are an immigrant, tell me about what is your immigration status. Have you taken any steps to become a U.S. citizen? If you're already a U.S. citizen but you're an immigrant, please note that here as well, because then I can generally spin this as you came into this country to set up a better life, whatever. So even if you're a U.S. citizen, don't skip this question. All right, if you've ever had a history of drug or alcohol problems, please provide details below, including any treatment you've received in the past or are receiving now. I understand sometimes people think that this kind of thing won't help them. Maybe their charge is just domestic violence and they had a problem with methamphetamine. That can still be helpful to you. If it's not, I will filter it out and I won't use it. But let's say that you got hooked on it, and I've had multiple clients like this very early on, and you've struggled with it throughout the years. Maybe you've never had a chance to go to rehab. Maybe you've gone to rehab and you kicked the habit. Whatever it is, give me the details. Don't be worried. I'm not judging you here. I just need to know the details, because if it's something significant that can help you, then let's use it. Please describe any difficulties you've experienced, whether in school, work, immigration, health, family life, that you haven't explained elsewhere in this form. So this is the catch-all, and really think about this. Again, don't be worried. I'm not judging you, and there may be something that you don't think is helpful, but it's actually very, very helpful. And if you put at least some details here, then you and I can have a discussion about it. Maybe I can get more details from you. So don't feel like you have to write out your whole life story, but give me a heads up that there's something there. Some people were in foster care. That's going to be important. Some people have had, maybe they are battling cancer. That's going to be important. I had a client with a brain tumor where they reduced his felony child pornography charge to a misdemeanor because they were like, well, he's probably going to die anyway. Literally, that is what the DA said to me. He is alive and well. He is recovering from that now. But that's why these details can be so very helpful. So you may think it's not relevant or something. Go ahead and write it anyway. All right, an additional mitigation. If there are any other positive things about you that you have not gotten a chance to explain yet earlier in the form, please list them here. This could be something like, I'm a shy person who always tries to help others but sometimes makes bad decisions. It can be something like that that's a more general statement, or it can be something that I didn't ask about here. Maybe you started your own nonprofit organization or something like that. Maybe that would fall under volunteer work. Maybe you didn't list it. I had a client who was a lobbyist, and he didn't really consider that volunteer work, and maybe he was getting paid for it. It wasn't his full-time job though, and that's information here that shows, okay, this is somebody who's really trying to contribute something to society. All right, and the last question. We highly recommend getting letters of recommendation / character references from school, work, volunteering, etc. if possible. Will you be able to obtain letters of recommendation? If you put no to this question, I will not be happy with you. Everyone can come up with at least some kind of character letters from someone, okay? So find someone. It can be when you don't have anybody from school, anybody from work, any volunteering, anything like that where you can get a letter. Then you need to make sure that you get a family member to do it. Get a family friend. Whoever you can, find someone. I have literally used a letter from someone's wife before to keep him out of prison. So just make sure that you get at least one, but at least 3 is better. At least 5 is even better, because sometimes the letters won't be as good as we thought they would be, and we might leave some out. Get these letters ready. These can be important when showing to the DA before the first court date. These can be very important when showing them to the judge at various points in the case, talking to the DA or the DA's supervisor to try to get you a good offer or a dismissal. So make sure that you get those, and I will have another video about what you need to do for those letters of recommendation. But please write yes here. If you write yes, you will get an email from us immediately with instructions on the letters of recommendation. But I really want you to work on this form first, really think about these things, take the time to do it, do a thorough job, because this is really important for your case. And if there's anything in here where we think we need more details, we want to talk to you more about it, we will definitely let you know. And if you have any questions as you are going through the form, feel free to reach out to us.